All right, so it has been a minute since we did one of these because we post like, what? We post one of these once a year, maybe. Listen, we're not YouTubers. We're just a couple of folks who are barely Irish.
The last one of these we did was, yeah, of course.
Was No Way Home.
No Way Home. I was going to say, of course, we mentioned the whole barely Irish thing the day after St. Patrick's Day.
That's right.
Let's see when this thing actually goes up, but we are recording this on March 18th. Yeah, it felt like a nice day to drive into
Shazam?
Pennsylvania, so here I am.
Yeah, thanks for doxing my location.
It's a big city, no one cares. So Shazam!
Shazam, the sequel, finally. We've been waiting for it. It's been, 4 years now?
It was, 2017, 2018.
It was 19.
Was it really that late? Oh my god, it feels like way longer.
Yeah.
First one...
Well, because a lot happened, I guess.
Yeah, I guess. The first one we rewatched, like, over the holidays.
We did?
We did that in, our Discord group.
It's a Christmas movie.
It is absolutely a Christmas movie. I will fight you on this. It's more of a Christmas movie than any anti-Christmas movie. So
Yeah, forget Die Hard.
Shazam.
Watch Shazam. Or Batman Returns.
Yes, both up there.
Batman 3 coming out soon. We'll talk about that eventually. I mean, The Flash.
Oh, is that what they're retitling it? Okay.
I just call it Batman 3 because, Keaton is in it.
No, but it's... people are going there for Michael Keaton's Batman.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's why. That's why I'm going to watch it. Anyway, so, I don't really know too much to expect with this one. I mean, I've watched the trailers. He's fighting, I call it the Golden Girls.
It's Helen Mirren and Lucy Liu, essentially.
Yeah.
Two main villains as the daughters of some random Greek god, right? Daughters of Athena? No. Daughters of
See,
Atlas.
I was expecting, because it's called Fury of the Gods. I thought these were supposed to be the gods on like the council of gods who lost their powers, right? That was the story of the first one. Which
that would actually make sense considering like what we've seen from the initial trailers is these two essentially wanting the whole Shazam family power set. Him running around with the staff and trying to just essentially take that power back.
Yeah.
It would make sense from a narrative perspective to have that be the main, reason for that.
Yeah, so we know a few things, I think. It's that the people that he draws his powers from, they're, all gone, including the wizard, because he dissolved or whatever.
Except he's coming back. We've seen him in the trailer, so we know he's coming back. That's not a spoiler.
Well, he's also back in Black Adam, which now has no relation to this because it's defunct. Defunct continuity. I gotta be honest. When they announced that they were rebooting the universe, I thought, do I even want to see this one? Yeah, but I like the first one so much that I'll see this one anyway. We'll see if it's good. We'll see how the story turns out. And we got 5 to 10 minutes, so let's get in there, watch it, and we'll come back and talk about it.
Let's do it.
Shh.
Now go fight for your family. Go fight for the world.
I just threw a truck at a dragon. I love my life.
So, Shazam, Fury of the Gods. So without saying anything spoilery first, was this as good as the first one?
No.
No.
It wasn't shit, which is what a lot of critics would lead you to believe if you're looking at Rotten Tomatoes scores
really?
and that sort of thing. Yeah, it's not going over too well with mainstream critics. What I will say is, without getting into spoilers, it was pretty entertaining. It had a lot of the same humor and a lot of the same notes as the first one, a lot of the same themes.
Yeah.
But yeah, the first one was better. Which, again, that's not to detract from this one. If the first one had been simultaneously purged from everyone's memories and this was standing on its own,
right.
I think it would be considered a pretty good movie, right?
Yeah, aside from the fact that this isn't really the origin tale.
No, it's they're already all well established at this point. But I feel like you don't need to see the first one to get this one. They
in a way, it's kind of like the continuation, I think, of that same theme because they kind of retread a lot of the same points, I need to find a champion. Am I worthy as the champion? I need my family. Themes like that. And so I actually went back, and I told you this before we started talking. I re-listened to the podcast we did where we reviewed the first movie, and I did actually make the joke, and I did the voice. I did the Vin Diesel voice when I said, it's about family. And in this movie, they make the exact same joke.
That's not a spoiler. That's in the trailer. You can go watch the trailer and see.
Well, I guess I forgot it was in the trailer. But yeah, that's kind of hilarious.
So negatives before getting into spoilers. A lot of predictable notes, a lot of formulaic notes. I think everyone who saw this movie knew how it was going to play out, which, whatever, that's just a problem in movies in general. Like, I don't know if that really detracts from it.
Yeah, I say that a lot. Like, especially if there's a film where there's a main character who's like a guy that like does all the things, he's an action guy, you know how the movie's going to go. It's very rarely something surprising at the end. But even just like scene to scene, like, I'll just say this won't mean anything out of context, but the one with the Skittles.
Yeah, I mean, they set that up. Yeah. I will say the first one, you don't expect the whole family to get powers by the end of the first one. That's a nice twist, right?
Right.
This didn't really have anything that was too shocking, aside from a cameo, which I'm not going to say what it is yet.
Yeah. Well, I have to admit, I kind of got spoiled on that because I randomly saw a video on YouTube.
I saw a screen cap of the post-credit scene, so I knew what to expect going into that, but I didn't realize exactly who we'd be seeing there.
It was very nice, though.
Yeah.
Well, we'll talk more about it in a minute.
The first cameo was very nice. The second one was sort of like world building without it really going anywhere, but we will get into that. Anything else you can say without getting into spoilers?
Yeah, well, like we're saying, it's kind of a retread, and it feels like, well, I guess what it is, where it's like just kind of in the middle of things. It feels very sequel-y. I'll put it that way.
Yeah.
It's like, we did the origin, it's kind of a complete thing, and this is like in the middle of events. Here's just like a day in the life, kind of, but when things are a little more, I guess, challenging for them. So I don't want to say like it suffers from sequelitis, but
it's got a little bit. If
you're looking for a unique experience, then I don't think you're going to get it. But, if like me, if you really like the first one, then you'll probably like this. It's like Deadpool and Deadpool 2.
It didn't suffer from sequelitis, but it definitely didn't get vaccinated against it.
Okay. That's a good way to put it.
No, it was fun. It was good. But yeah, I mean, it suffers from the same problem that a lot of sequels suffer from. It just wasn't as good as the first one. Shazam! So what can we say as far as main plot points?
I'll say this.
Yeah.
The main thing that I really liked about the first one is that twist that you said, where at the end, the whole family gets powers, and it's kind of up to everybody. But this one kind of does the reverse of that, right? It's everyone gets depowered, and it's up to him.
Well,
I like
except
that.
for Billy, but yeah.
Yeah, except for him.
I mean, that sort of works well, like, because again, like the whole theme is how important family is and how important having a team is, but what do you do when you don't have access to that sort of power, right? When you don't have access to that sort of family structure, right? Like,
and you
have to see who you are outside of that structure.
Right, because he's saying, I feel like I'm nothing without them. Like my original family abandoned me, and now everyone else, because the kids, of course, are visibly aging. And if they make another one, like a third one,
they're not going to be kids anymore.
I don't know how they would. Because, all these kids are going to be older by the time they even get around to that, so.
Yeah. So I will say, as far as the main cast goes, the recurring family members, pretty much all the same notes. They didn't really develop too much beyond what we saw in the first movie.
Yeah, they're kind of like, they do a quick thing where they like go through the house and like re-show you all the characters, I guess, little quirks. Mm-hmm. So okay, this person is that, this person's that.
Yeah, and I mean, they didn't. I don't think you really need to build any of these characters up beyond that. Like, they're dimensional enough that they feel like actual people, but at the same time, they're very one note.
Right. Should we address the one?
Yeah.
That they just throw in there.
Yeah, there's a gay character. I'm shocked no one said that on the internet.
He has two things. There's two random things they put in.
He's fat.
One,
and he's gay.
Well, he's fat, but one, he's looking like a magazine with, I don't know, some shirtless guy.
I mean, it's heavily implied at that point. And then he explicitly says later on.
Yeah, it's like, they're like, it's time to come out with the truth. I'm gay.
Yeah, we know.
Yeah.
Shit.
And it's like, okay.
No,
they gone woke! No!
Which I will say, I don't know, the wild Shazam family that closely in the comics, right? I'm not sure if the character is gay or not, but
I have no idea.
The way they sort of play that off for laughs, like, if he was gay, I don't think anyone would care or react in any prominent way, right? Like,
yeah. I mean, it's a foster family with, like, Latina parents.
Yeah.
What did you think was going to
Philadelphia, I don't think they're going to, yeah. So, yeah, it is what it is. It's a little bit, I hate using the term woke just because it's so overused at this point and so used by the right at this point. But, yeah, it's a little bit...
Pandering?
Because
it's just an appeal with no substance.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Definitely didn't need that moment in there, but it really was just there to show, oh, hey, we have this gay character. Look how progressive we are. It's virtue signaling.
Yeah. Well, anyway, moving on.
Yeah.
So I was afraid of there being too much like CG monster shit.
Yeah, I there was a lot of that, but I don't think it was so in your face about it that it was like distracting or that you thought constantly. Yeah. Like the first one actually had like with the actual
7 Deadly Sins.
Yeah, the 7 Deadly Sins. The actual CGI on that was so much worse than some of the monsters we see in this one. So to some extent, it's just like, oh, CGI has progressed a little bit in the last few years, so it looks a little bit cleaner. It's not as excessive, but yeah, you're gonna have some CGI monsters.
And these kind of look like sort of Dungeons and Dragons-y type things. I mean, it's supposed to be like Greek mythology monsters, I think. Most of them, if not all.
I think all of them are loosely related.
You see a Cyclops.
You see a Manicore. Unicorn, obviously.
Okay, is the unicorn actually from Greek? I don't think so.
I think unicorns are in a bunch of different mythologies, so I don't know if it's just like restricted to Greek or Roman.
Yeah, well, there's a dragon, and I don't think that's explicitly Greek.
No, it's not. I mean, you've got.
There's just a dragon because DC Universe and magic.
Why not?
No other explanation needed. Whatever.
I will say, as far as the villains go, and I know
that was the other thing.
So I think we went into this sort of pessimistic about it, just because it's an old lady and Lucy Liu, right? Like
Lucy Liu still looks good.
Helen Mirren actually looks pretty good for her age too. Like she's pushing 80. Like,
it's a grandma. I don't want to use that term. A nice looking mama.
She's a MILF. Well, you can use that term.
And a little girl.
Yeah, Rachel Zegler.
Weird trio. But the girl isn't really villainy at all.
No, but it's like, even from the first.
You know what it reminds me of? How's this for a reference? Legends of Tomorrow. I think it was season 6. The Fates with the loom of Fates.
Oh yeah, that was like pretty spot on.
Where what's her name? Charlie was her name.
Yeah.
The chick who they get from some past, and then she turns out she's one of the Fates, but then she's like with her sisters who want to rearrange the timeline, take over for themselves, get revenge on whatever the hell it is.
Yeah, it's basically the same.
But then she turns good and helps everybody.
Yep.
Same thing. Kind
of. It more or less.
She even looks similar to this girl in this movie. They're kind of like tannish,
both younger looking.
Afro-Latina? I don't know.
I think Charlie's black, but Rachel Zegler's definitely Latina. So villains. I will say it's refreshing not to have, or refreshing is the wrong word, but Savannah, they basically reworked the entire character in the first Shazam to be, his mirror, which is obviously a huge problem in superhero movies when you have a character that's got the exact same power set as the hero. It's just so boring and overdone at this point. That it's nice to have these characters who actually have unique powers, and they attempted to make them a little more interesting than just, oh hey, it's this foiled main hero. But
they're still kind of connected to him in like the similar way with the whole thing with the staff and everything. I will say in the first one, they kind of had like, they built up the villain a little bit. He's kind of very much Lex Luthor-y, where, as I mentioned when we talked about that, John Glover as his father, who played Lex Luthor's father in Smallville. So he kind of had that same overbearing negative tone to Savannah that he had to Lex Luthor. So, bald guy, industry, rich, wants power. Kind of had that setup. But here, I felt they were a little underdeveloped because they kind of just come in. They're daughters of Atlas, one of the gods who apparently humans, I guess the wizard was a human, took the powers.
They're sort of unclear about that. Like, I feel like the wizard's from another dimension too, but
they also don't explain how he comes back.
No, I think like the form we see in the Rock of Eternity was just a projection, and his real body was like either in this prison or somewhere like secluded. That's what I interpreted.
So he did the Last Jedi Luke thing, except he didn't just disappear for good.
Yeah, that's what I got. Like, that was some sort of projection. Yeah, I don't think they needed to bring him back, but...
He had a fun role.
No, he was fun in that.
I enjoyed him. Like, he's actually more of a character in this than the last one, even.
Right. Well, in the last one, he was pretty much traditionally just, the version we see from the comic, where it's just, he's there to give Billy his powers and
then go
away himself.
Yeah. But here he joins in on the fun, and I'm okay with that.
Yeah. No, he's
It
good.
added something.
I do like Digimon Hansu.
Yeah,
Yes.
he's cool. He's also the guy who goes, who?
Star-Lord.
Star-Lord, who?
Star-Lord, man.
What was that character's name?
I always forgot. I remember him so distinctly from the Guardians 1 trailer, but it's like...
Yeah.
He's a very one-note, like, you never really see me. I think he's in What If, too.
Hey, it's funny. It's another thing we mentioned. So, he was an actor in a Marvel movie with a small role, and now he got a bigger role in DC, and Zachary Levi played some small role in Thor, I think it was The Dark World.
Yes, he was briefly in Ragnarok, too. He does in Ragnarok.
Okay.
But he's on screen for like 2 seconds.
And now he has a big role in DC.
Mhm.
Hey! What if they're all in the same universe? Avengers Society, right?
It's just like, a alternate dimension or something. If they ever do Marvel versus DC, are they going to have jokes about the actors who've appeared in both properties?
Yeah, or do that thing in the Marvel versus DC comic where they had, like, these two entities that kind of, like, represented the realms, and they were, like, brothers, and then they fuse, and then, oh no, it's the Amalgam universe. Oh god, don't do that, please.
Amalgam would actually be fun as hell to see on screen.
Yeah, well, they would have to rethink some of those ideas.
Yeah, so what else can we really say about this thing?
Wonder Woman.
Yes, that was a good cameo. And they do play nicely, because you obviously never see Superman's face in the first Shazam
True,
cameo.
and they do the
play
same
with
joke again.
Yeah, and like they're very clearly aware that the audience is aware.
But
yeah,
here's why her cameo makes the most sense, because this all deals with, like, Greek gods, right? They're the children of a Greek god, and she's a Greek god. Hello, yes. Like, if she didn't appear, I would have said, hey, what about Wonder Woman? Shouldn't she have something to do with that? There you go. Yeah. Although I guess she doesn't really actively involve herself until at the end, when it's like, he has this big moment where he's charging up. I was like, you know what? I bet they're going to show a scene where he, like, explodes and his eyes turn white. They kind of did that. And then he's dead. Except then he's
2 seconds. I don't think anyone thinks he actually died during that 2-second period where
he looked pretty dead. Yeah. Like, he looked kind of Tony Stark, burnt out dead. But then she touches this thing, and then everything's happy, and a tree grows. And I made the joke about how you see Billy, and then what's the other kid's name?
Freddie.
You see, his name is forgettable. Jeff. Him and Jeff put their hands on, like, each side of the barrier. I'm like, that reminds me of Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan ending, when Kirk and Spock do that. And then at the end, when she touches the staff and you see, like, life start growing, that's also like the Wrath of Khan ending, where the Genesis device goes off and it births life on the planet that Spock's body was on, later resurrecting him in Star Trek, the movie 3. Star Trek.
Okay, so post-credit scene... like I said, I feel like that's not going to go anywhere just because... So...
Unfortunately. Although it would have been cool to see him actually join the Justice Society or League, whichever.
I mean, I guess the Justice Society could still happen. Like, none of those actors really have bad blood with DC as far as we know. If you saw Black Adam...
Unless you're The Rock.
Yeah. I mean, even The Rock didn't, like, explicitly say, I'm never going to be Black Adam again. He basically just said, I'm not going to be part of this first phase, which implies to me, it's not completely dead. Maybe it'll appear sometime in the future. But, Gunn's clearly got a vision for this first, arc of the DC universe, which The Rock is not part of.
Yeah. Well, they still could do, like, Society, because Black Adam is not part of that, technically.
Right. Yeah, I mean, it's a separate entity. I will say, Justice Society was probably one of the better parts of the Black Adam movie.
Yeah. I mean, some of them were like,
forgettable.
Like the Atom Smasher and the one with the wind power.
Zephyr.
Like,
yeah.
But, Reset, coming soon. Here's the big question, though. If people are looking at this as, like, an Avengers thing, say the upcoming Flash is like the Infinity War event, because that's going to change everything. Sort of. Do you need to watch this movie in order to watch that one and understand everything that's going on?
Probably not.
And no, not at all.
Like, I mean, look, we're not going to know exactly what happens in The Flash until we see The Flash, but I feel like a lot of these standalone DC projects are basically going to be irrelevant in the greater scheme of things, right?
But this one was produced by Peter Safran, who's the co-president now, co-CEO, so hey, come on. I like Zachary Levi still. I wouldn't mind seeing him again. As for the kid, I don't know. Well, it's like, if they do it again, will they just have the kid and no Zachary Levi, or no kid?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like he's a good Billy Batson. I feel like the two are sort of like intertwined with the character at this point.
What about Mary Marvel? What if she just appeared alone randomly?
Like,
I wouldn't mind seeing her.
No, she's actually pretty good in that. I think of the Shazam, she's one of the more memorable members.
Yeah, and I didn't know this, but in the first one, her like adult form,
it's a different actress.
Was a different
but
actress.
in this one, it's the same. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, it was decent.
Yeah, go watch it. It's fun.
Yeah, check it out if you like DC, Marvel crap, any of that crap. I wasn't disappointed, but I wasn't really expecting much to begin
No, I
with.
mean, I think it's going to be kind of forgettable. I don't think anyone's going to be talking about this a year from now, but it's, good escapism. It's a fun movie.
That's about it.
Okay.
So, until next time, if there is one. See ya.
See ya.